Bedford and other cities across the DFW Metroplex are home to several types of wildlife, including coyotes. Now, while coyotes have been around our area for decades, we have been seeing an increased report in sightings just throughout the area and with the community. Now, today we get to talk with a coyote expert. I'm joined with Adam Henry. He is with Texas Wildlife Services. Adam, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So let's kind of just get started. Tell us a little bit about your research and your experience with coyotes.
So in my platform, I am USDA Wildlife Services urban biologist, and so we deal with nuisance wildlife throughout the Metroplex and their interactions with the human conflict that they potentially cause.
Now, some of us are really surprised to see coyotes throughout the city, and Bedford specifically. So why is it normal to see these animals within our city limits?
Well, we've known from several research projects that we've had coyotes in North Texas and other metropolitan areas throughout the nation for years. We've obviously, California experienced the most amount of attacks from coyotes on humans a year, and so they've had that hold that record for many, many years now, and it just transcended to other cities as well throughout the nation.
And how do they normally operate in a city? Like, what is their lifestyle?
So they take up residence. They do have a home range, and they find food and water and shelter right here among us. They do very well. They are a symbiotic animal, and they do find all the creature comforts of home among humans.
So what are those homes? Like, what's that shelter like?
That can be anything from underneath a storage shed in the backyard, the storm drain culvert certain times of the year, ditch embankments on our riparian areas, things like that.
Where they feel like they have a safe place.
Absolutely.
Now, so what are some tips, in your opinion, to try and minimize our experience with or encounters with them?
Around our homes, we need to trim our hedges and kind of separate those hedgerows. We want to make sure we don't have any hidey holes around the house. Obviously, they're looking for food, so rats, mice, lizards, rabbits are potential food sources, but we also potentially plant fruit-bearing and nut-bearing trees that they can consume. They also eat the bird feed and the bird seed in our bird feeders in our backyards, and so that makes it kind of troublesome when we want to have all those things that kind of make a home a home. They are potential attractants to coyotes.
And so if you're walking out with your family, your dog, what should we be doing if we're encountering a coyote?
So if we just happen out of the house and we have Toto or Fido on the line with us, right, we want to protect them. We want to put them back in the house, but we want to be aggressive and act aggressively towards that coyote. We want to make him leave the property. That can be done in various ways: air horns, any other kind of noisemakers, such as a can with rocks or pennies in it that you can shake, just something to startle that animal and continue to drive them off of the property so that they're not just comfortable hanging around. All too often I see folks retreat into the house and sit inside the window looking at the coyote on the outside, and that essentially lets him win the day. So we want to make sure that we harass that coyote off the neighborhood. That way he's not comfortable to the next family that he comes in contact with.
If you don't have an air horn or something like that when you're out on a walk.
Loud noises, make yourself look big, clap your hands. Don't throw your shoes because you might need them to move away if he did turn into an aggressive situation, but we certainly want to have something that we can project. Water hoses are great. Super soakers, if it's summertime. Everybody should have a super soaker at the ready for the occasional water fight. So any of those things that could be projected to have that animal move off and respect your presence.
Can coyotes be moved to less urban areas?
No, actually in the state of Texas, they are a rabies vector, and so there are laws against trapping and relocating coyotes. And so we really want to make sure that animal fits into our 7 steps of behavior platform and is actually overtly aggressive towards people or pets. And that's usually dictated by your city as when that action would happen to remove them from the landscape.
Now, what is your best advice for how we can coexist? Because it doesn't seem like they're going anywhere anytime soon.
No, they're not going anywhere. So all of those things that we talked about, making sure our immediate domicile is clean and free of attractants, is the biggest one. If we see coyotes, we harass coyotes and we don't allow them to just saunter down the road unabated. We want to actually have an interaction where they move away from us and understand, hey, this is my turf. Don't do that. And then monitor them, obviously with some sort of monitoring system potentially set up by the city so that you have a hotline to call and leave information. At the same time, understanding that not every call is going to elicit a response to come out and actually physically remove an animal. But it is something that we track the data on, and so it helps the folks responding in the event they need to on where those animals might be living and their habituated travel patterns.
So if you see a coyote, call animal services.
Please, yes, absolutely. Your local animal services, whether you're in Bedford or another city, chances are they have something set up that they could respond or at least take down the information and stockpile it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Adam, for joining us today. Great tips, and hopefully our community will be able to learn something from them.
Thank you very much for having me.